All right, you guys had more questions? We're back here with the answers. This is Real Estate Unfiltered. Welcome back, everyone. Memo here.
Welcome, Chris.
So let's get into it. We did a Q&A episode a
Yeah,
couple weeks ago, and we had a lot more people
it's
start asking
it
more
seems like we
questions.
had a
So
lot of questions and we only were able to cover a few, so we jotted down a few more. Yeah, we'll just go over those today.
yeah, so
And
these are actually good ones too. These hit a little bit more on the buyer and seller perspective. I know the last time
right,
we had a few agents ask questions
yeah.
about communication, right? Again,
Well, I think actually the first one was actually a house that's was already listed.
which one?
The
The
one that was here was
Oh, right here.
yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
Why
Yeah.
is my home it isn't selling and it's not the market?
So, I mean, we've touched on this too, in the past, but I think it boils down to a lot of things right now. Obviously, the market's funky. We have the war going on, interest rates are up. So, I think it really boils down to right now with a weird market, um, the advertising and marketing of it, being strategic with the pricing, just doing professional photos and posting to your 200 friends on Facebook really isn't going to cut it
Right.
anymore.
And I think real estate's it's always changing, and you have to pivot and figure it out. I mean, we can do the professional photos. We can spend $1 million on marketing and get it in front of tons and tons of eyes. I mean, it's not the war, it's not the gas prices, and it's not the interest rates because they're coming down. I mean, my perspective is, I mean, they're not going to like to hear it, but it's the price.
Yeah.
I mean, because we can do all we can, and if it's not moving, that's the only thing that's not a move in the house.
It really is. At the end of the day, it does boil down to price. I mean, every house,
Hmm.
any house is going to sell at a certain price point.
Right.
There's a happy or a magic number that's going to be like, okay, that's worth it at this point.
It can show perfectly. And again, we can do all of the marketing that we put into the house and spend thousands of dollars to get it out there. But I mean, at the end of the day, if we're not getting showings, or if we're getting showings and we're not getting offers, it's the price. I mean, that it stings to hear. That's not what sellers don't want to hear. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, if it's priced right or lower, then it's going to sell.
Yeah, and that goes in conjunction with the condition of the house, upgrades, things like that.
Hmm.
Because let's say it is a really nice upgraded house with a pool, whatever the case is, we do tend to price it a little bit higher just because it's a little bit more different in the market from what people are looking
Right.
for or have seen.
If a house merits a higher price, then yeah, we're going to price it a little higher. But we can't just say, oh, this house is super nice and throw a huge price tag on it.
Yeah. But that kind of goes into the same thing where, yeah, it's still a gamble, and we have that conversation with our sellers
Hmm.
and say, hey, yes, your house merits this, but at the end of the day, the market's going to dictate what someone's willing to pay
Yep,
for
the
it.
buyer's going to dictate what they want to pay for your house. So
Yep.
at the end of the day, after all the marketing stuff that we do, if the house isn't selling, 99.9%, it's the price. It's not the home description. That's not selling your house. It's
Yep.
not the war. It's not the rates. I mean, the rates have come down. So there's still buyers out there. So if they're not buying your house, it's more than likely overpriced.
Yeah, and there's situations too, or like I've had one, or the last couple that I sold in the last couple weeks or closed escrow. Both of those had multiple offers over
Yeah.
asking price, sold in a couple days, but they were a little bit more unique.
Hmm.
Both these houses happen to be closer over 3,000 square feet. One had paid off solar, the other one was a 5 bedroom, which are a little bit more unique in our areas.
Yeah, because I
Um,
think you just did one. It sold in 3 days.
yep,
I just did one. It sold in 4 days and with a 10-day escrow.
yep,
So I mean, if it's a unicorn that stands out, then yeah, those are going to sell for more money. But if you're your standard track home, yes, you have upgrades. I mean, if it's not priced correctly, it's not going to sell. It's going to sit on the market,
yeah.
regardless what we do on our end.
Yeah, and I don't want to negate the fact that we do a lot with the marketing, the advertising, the professional
Hmm.
photos, the videos that we're doing now. Those do help because our goal for that aspect is getting eyes on the property.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have those advertising things, you could just be stuck in the mix with all the other
Hmm.
um, sellers on Zillow, Homes.com, Redfin on page 4 or 5, where a buyer is going to get bored and kind of pass them up and may not even notice them. So those are the things that we do to get eyes on the property. But if we exhausted all the marketing and advertising,
Hmm.
do the postcards, do the posts, do the paid advertising, and we're still getting low showings, things like that, at the end of the day, it's price.
And
It
then
is what it
I
is.
think we discussed it probably in one of our first videos. I mean, a lot of people just gotta realize we're back to more of a normal market.
Yep.
I mean, it's typically you used to sell a house 30 or 40 days, and that was pretty standard. So yeah, I mean, our goal is to sell it as fast as possible. But I tell my clients all the time, they start freaking out like week 2 or 3.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm not real. If I'm not worried, you shouldn't be worried. I mean, If we start stacking on more and more days on market, then yeah, we might want to do an adjustment. But right now, I mean, like we're getting people in the door. People are calling me about it. I mean, we're getting activity. So just let's give it some time.
Yeah, and that's I had that exact conversation with my seller today on one of my properties. Typically once a week on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, I'll do
Yeah,
like a full market report again and call and be like, okay, hey, these are the houses that have come on the market. This is what went into escrow. These are what things have closed. This is what has reduced in price, and then we could compare from there.
yeah. I
It's
like
like,
doing that about once a week because we pay for the Zillow showcase.
yep,
So we get all the back end like information that most agents don't have.
yep,
So we can sense, hey, here's how your house is performing against like others. So that's just like a good tool. Say, hey, we're getting views, but we're not getting shares. And those shares is a really good tool for us to look at because because every time they share it to their agent, like here's a house, like we
hmm,
get to see that.
yep,
So if they're viewing it, but they're not sharing it to their agent wanting to see it, then obviously there's a problem somewhere.
yep, exactly. So it's just being strategic um, about what the market's doing, having a game plan going forward, and then realizing at the end of the day, I mean, we're the professionals, right? We're supposed to tell our sellers, hey, this is why,
Right.
this is what's happening, this is what we need to change. And 9 times out of 10, it's price because we get the houses ready, we do all the marketing, all the advertising. If it's not working, it's not
Right.
working. It's either price or something wrong with the house. And
Right.
usually things that are wrong with the house, we address that up front with our clients.
It's-
Um, so I mean, going into that, talking about why things aren't selling, what sellers' assumptions are, and things like that. Let's talk about like the differences between Zillow and the reality of what things are, right?
Zillow and the reality. I think people have to realize too, Zillow is just an algorithm.
Hmm.
It's just pulling up like sized houses that have sold in your area.
Hmm.
So they're not comparing, I mean, they've never been to your house. They're just comparing it by other houses that have sold in the same square footage. They don't know if that house was upgraded. They don't know if that house was a rental and completely destroyed and needed, complete remodel. So yeah, I mean, it's a tool for people to get maybe a general idea of the house, but yeah, it's not set in stone. And then if you do scroll down on this estimate, that most people don't see, it actually gives you a spread of a
A
number.
range.
It's like here's your range from the low to the high, but I think people don't look at that. They just go to their actual Zestimate.
Well, yeah, which is
Uh,
the average of the two,
yeah,
anyways.
which is the average of the
And it
two.
doesn't even take into consideration a house could have sold for 100 grand more that had a pool fully upgraded,
Hmm.
and it's skewing those results.
Right.
And I mean, there are times that they're close,
Hmm.
but then there's ones that are like,
Way
oh,
off.
Zestimate says my house should be 75 grand more. I'm like, well, they don't know. They're just, and I tell my clients, they, like you said, they take a 1 mile radius. They
Hmm.
look at all the houses that are similar in size. I don't know what their exact numbers are. Don't really take into consideration bedroom, bathrooms. They just look at the size
Hmm.
and the price.
Yeah, it's just an algorithm, and the people don't understand too. Like you say, it does a certain radius. It might be pulling houses that are outside your community.
Yep.
So if you're living in, this community and you're next to, let's just say Canyon Lake, by example, or something, a lot of those houses sell for over 1 million, and you're next door in Tuscany Hills. I mean, that's going to be not a good
It makes
comparison.
that.
Yeah, it messes it all up.
Yeah. And the one funny thing that you always kind of see on the media or saw it years ago where the the CEO of Zillow sold his house for like 30% less than what
Hmm.
his estimate was.
Yeah, if his house wasn't right, why is everybody else's?
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't get that a lot of times. Like when I go into listing appointments, they're like, "Oh, my house is worth this." I mean, you do get the people like occasionally, but I mean, I don't think most people say, "Oh, Mozilla said it's this, so why are we at this other price?"
I haven't got that as much. You're right.
Mm.
Like in the last at least
It
call
almost
it
seems like
two
it's died out
years.
a little bit, maybe.
People maybe are starting to realize. Plus, again, with the media, and I know
Hmm.
Zillow's been under fire a lot in the last handful of years with a lot of the other bigger online companies, but I don't necessarily see it all that much,
Hmm.
even though it was a question.
Yeah.
But I
I
mean,
mean, a lot of times I'll at a listing presentation, I'll start with like, I'm sure you've been looking at the market or you have an idea, like, what do you think your house is worth?
mhm,
And they'll either, most of the time that they won't even have a price. They're going to say, well, you're the professional. I want to hear what you have to say.
yep,
And then we'll go over the comps, and then I tell them the price I want. And then all of a sudden it comes back, well, that's the price I was thinking.
yeah,
So they have a price, but they want to hear what you have to say first.
they know, and I mean, especially if the house 2 doors down from you or around the corner
Yeah.
that you drive by every day to go into your street, you're gonna Google it, you're gonna
Yeah,
look it
you're
up.
gonna say, what was it selling for? I mean, if you're on the
Yeah,
verge of selling like your house, I mean, you're doing your homework and looking to what other houses are selling.
yeah, people know, and then a lot of times too, they'll have the conversation. I know you and I have talked about it before with listings where they have a set number
Hmm.
versus a price. It's like, hey, I really want to make 100 grand. I'm like, okay, cool.
Right. And that's what I brought up too. A lot of times it's like, don't focus on what we're selling it for. What do you want to net? So,
Yep.
just let's not focus on the selling point. Let's see how much money I can make you. And I think that actually kind of goes off topic, but that gets brought up more during like commission.
Yep.
I'm like, do you want to, sell the house more, or do you want to make the most money?
Yep.
And obviously, I think we might charge more than other people, but we typically sell them for more money and quicker. So at the end of the day, we're going to make you more money. So let's not focus on our commission. Let's focus on how much money we're going to make
Yeah,
you.
exactly. We have the expertise, we have the know-how. I mean, we've done X amount of deals. We've been number one in Lake Elsinore for so many years, and there are other agents that are quote unquote discount agents or
Hmm.
whatever. And I know you say this to your clients, and I do too. It's if their value was being lower
Yep.
and they sell houses, why don't they do the
Yep.
same amount as we
That's the
do or
only value
more?
they have is cheap. They should be selling more houses than us.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
So I think the Zillow conversation is kind of a mute point now. I don't think it
yeah.
around as much as it used to with those
Yeah.
conversations with
And just
sellers.
as we're talking about, I'm just saying, like, it doesn't get brought up
Yeah,
as much anymore.
and honestly, I didn't think about it before or when we were talking about these questions until right now that we're talking
Yeah.
out loud. I'm like, you know what?
I haven't heard that
I
in quite
haven't
some
really
time.
heard someone talk
So,
about
well, my
Zillow or whatever.
estimate says this. Well, your estimate's stupid. So show me in
It's
these
like, no,
comps where that comes up.
yeah. Why are you
Yeah.
$35,000 more than these other ones?
And then sometimes you have to switch it too. It's like if you were a buyer and you have three other houses listed at this price, what merits your house to be that much more money? Are you going to buy your house for 35,000 like more dollars?
Yeah,
No,
exactly. So I don't think it's a real big concern anymore, and I don't think people are taking it to heart as much as they used to.
no.
Um,
And that kind of spins off like to the next question, like just dealing with like sellers. What's an emotional like mistake that sellers make?
I would say emotionally, it probably goes back to them thinking their house is the best
Yeah,
house on the block.
because it's their home.
Hmm.
I mean, it's not a house to them, it's their home.
Yeah,
They've turned it into a home, so they've come emotionally attached to their house. So yes, they've put the work into it. So they just assume that my house is better than someone else's down the street.
yeah. They've built it. They've done what they've wanted. They might have raised their kids there, and they've been there for
Mm-hmm.
20 years or whatever. So a lot of that's going through their head and not looking at it as a quote unquote business
Mm-hmm.
decision, in a business transaction. So I think that's one of the bigger things too. Um, and then I don't even know if this is emotional, I guess, but I guess it's a little bit is when they think that what they've done to the house, upgraded, changed things are the best things. Like, oh, this is wood flooring Pergo from the early 2000s or whatever. It was an upgrade then.
Yeah.
Um,
You're doing the walkthrough and they're showing you all these small items. I've done this, and in your head, I'm like, and that doesn't add
mhm,
nothing to your house. So I mean, yeah, but emotional. I mean, they have to take that out of it because you take the home out of it because now you're selling a house,
yeah,
and the new buyer is going to buy your house and turn it into their home.
yeah.
So I think that's the biggest emotional they got to take out of it.
And then I think too, like when you're negotiating inspections and things like that from an emotional
Sometimes
standpoint,
sellers freak out. Like, how dare they ask me that? There's nothing wrong with my house. It's perfect.
yeah. And then we have an inspection here,
Mm-hmm.
HVAC company, a roofer, whatever. It's like, oh, this is wrong. It's like, oh, well, it's cooling. I'm like, yeah, it's cooling, but it's not
Mm-hmm.
cooling properly. So there
Yeah.
might be some issue. And that goes into the whole conversation of like, okay, if we lose these buyers, we're
The
gonna
next
have to,
buyer is going to do it as well.
and we have to show them the inspection anyway, so it's gonna come up. So
Yeah.
why are we gonna try to
Yeah, nine
scare off a
times out
buyer
of
or be
10,
difficult?
yes, your house is perfect, and the items that they found that were broken, you didn't even know about. It's maybe something in the attic or something that you had no idea that was wrong. So don't get emotional and get defensive and mad at the buyer. I mean, this is something that it just came up, and we have to deal with it.
Yep. I'm trying to think of other examples, or even when what's the word I'm trying to say, when they get not aggravated, insulted.
Oh, insulted, yeah,
Like when you or like with a credit or repairs,
yeah,
or if they're asking for a $15,000 credit, like when negotiating the offer,
hmm
they're getting emotional because again, they go back to thinking my house is worth much more, blah blah blah. But it's like, hey, at the end of
yeah.
the day, it's a
Yeah,
negotiation.
let's not get defensive because if you don't ask, the answer is always no.
Yeah,
I mean, let's figure it out and come to a negotiation that works best for both parties. I mean, don't look at your first offer or request for repair. Again, be emotional about it. Yeah, of course, half the time a buyer wants to ask for everything because you don't know the answer.
yeah. And there's no harm, and especially
Yeah,
in
it's
this,
no harm in asking.
yeah, and especially in this market too, right? This market is kind of wonky. So a
What
buyer's
word is this wonky word? Is
wonky,
that the third
funky.
time you said
Have
wonky?
I said wonky that
I don't
much? I'm gonna
know.
keep saying it just to piss you off.
We're gonna do a shot every time you say wonky.
Now I
And we're
can't.
drunk.
Now I can't even think about it. Um, what was I going with this?
Well, I had no idea. You
Uh,
lost me at wonky.
Okay, fine. The market's weird, and buyers think they could ask for whatever they want because they
Yeah.
think sellers are a little bit more desperate. Again, you're going to just ask, and it might not kill the deal. It might kill the deal, but at the end of the day, they're going to ask for what they want. So instead of getting emotional about it, let's talk through it, figure out what they're asking for, which one of those 20
Yeah.
things that they're asking for are actually things we need to address. And then the other ones, we could tell them to kick rocks. Like, hey, we're not replacing the outlet cover,
Yeah. And
you
that's
know?
something I'm sure both of us do. We talk to our clients before we get any request for repair.
Yeah.
We said they did the inspection. I haven't heard back. I mean, no news is good news when it comes to that
Yep.
typically. But yeah, just expect something, and they're gonna ask for the stupidest stuff, and then we'll negotiate it from there. Just
Yeah. And I have that conversation too, is if they do send us a laundry list of stuff, I'm going to just go through it first before I even send it to you and just say, hey, these are the things that I think are concerning, what I think we should address. Everything else, I'll talk through it with the agent, let them know that, hey, these are dumb or whatever the
Mhm.
case might be, but we're not going to do those things. That way I could present them with the actual meat and potatoes of the inspection versus what I see a lot of agents do. Okay, here's the inspection report. Tell me what you want.
Yeah,
And inspection reports,
you're there to guide them. You're their professional.
yeah, and inspection reports are inherently, there you go, written scary, right? Because
Mhm.
inspectors don't need to be licensed in California, so everything says, oh, make sure you check with a licensed
Licensed
contractor.
bonded contractor.
It's
Yeah,
at the end of its life expectancy, like just scary words. So if you're just giving them free reign to decipher that however they want, it might look worse. And how many times have you get a buyer's inspection request for or a request for repair with they're just saying see summary page and they'll just
yeah.
give you the summary
I'm
page
like,
and it's like
nope.
30 things. I'm like, what? Like none of those even make sense.
I don't even want to respond to those.
No.
They get left like in my red box forever.
But yeah, it brings it back to anything that has to be emotionally right. Like I
Hmm.
always joke with clients too, because they get emotional. You have to talk them down and figure it out. But it's like, hey, we're the real estate Dr. Phil, right? we're sitting there having this conversation with them, like, hey,
We're psychiatrists and realtors at the same
yeah.
time.
So you have to talk them off the ledge. It's really not that emotional at the end of the day. You have to look at it as a business
Mhm. Yeah.
transaction.
So I think this
Uh,
last question that we have here is kind of
what is this?
we're gonna have people on both sides of the fence because
Oh,
I'm sure we hear it all the time.
yeah.
I mean, HOA pros and cons. So what do you like or dislike? I mean, I know what I like and dislike,
Yeah.
but
Well, so we both live in HOAs, so I
yeah,
think we kind of have a better
I,
grasp of it. And
I'm pro HOA
I
myself.
agree. And we're both involved in the back end stuff with people that we know that are on the board, the
Right.
day to day versus just what people
Hmm.
assume are happening because they think the HOA is always after someone. I'm definitely pro. I think there's a lot more pros than cons.
Yeah.
I mean, the one example that everyone knows, and it should relate with everyone, you don't want your next door neighbor to have a bright purple house that looks like
Exactly.
Barney,
Hmm.
or the person next door that has weeds that are this high and they park
Yeah.
all their beater
You
cars
bought
in
a
the
house and you want to be in a nice community, so that just protects you in that your community's going to look nice. I mean, is it annoying when you get stupid like letters in the mail? Your trailer was out front for too long,
yeah.
or I mean, your paint's starting to flake. You have to paint it, but at the end of the day, it just keeps the whole community and area looking
I,
better. I
I
mean,
just got one yesterday because we were gone on vacation and I left my trash cans out. So
yeah,
I'm like, it is what it
I had
is,
my
but
neighbors bring mine in, so it was nice.
yeah. So
Yeah, so there's cons. Yes, there's some rules you got to follow, but they're not difficult.
there
And
really is. And I mean, I've heard the horror stories and I've been involved in some sales where the HOA was more difficult.
yeah,
But I
I'm
think
sure it
that,
depends on your community,
yeah,
but most in the areas that we sell, they're all particularly pretty similar.
yeah. And it boils down to the interpretation of the rules and all that stuff. But it's also dumb too. And I think this kind of falls back on the buyer, but not so much the buyer, but more so the agent, where they're not reviewing the HOA documents because
Yeah.
every rule, every regulation, everything you can or can't do, it's written there.
Hmm.
No one's making these things up.
Yeah. And they're agreeing to it but before they buy the
Yeah,
house
you
too.
have to agree to all that. You have to sign off on it. It's just no one's going to read 300 pages of CC&Rs and rules and
Hmm.
bylaws and all that kind of stuff. And then when something does come up because you left your trash cans out
Hmm.
a day too long or you have a little bit of flaking paint, it's in the rules. They're just
Hmm.
they're following the rules and hey, Mr. Owner, you need to do X, Y, and Z. And people
And you
think
had
they're getting beat
you
up
had
on it.
mentioned that we're both in an HOA, so I know yours HOA just recently went up as well.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure every HOA in California is probably going up. So that's a big complaint that I see is like, why are you guys raising the rent? We're not getting more and more like amenities. But yeah, they have to understand everything in California has gotten more expensive. All the
Yeah.
landscapers, all the water, everything's getting more expensive.
Yeah.
So
Electricity.
so yeah, one rate increase every couple of years isn't horrible.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in my neighborhood for what, 14, 12 years, 13 years now. And
Which one was it? 12, 13,
well,
14?
one of those.
Just pick
I
one
know I
and go
can't
with it.
math.
It was probably 10.
Call it 14, right?
Just
Let's just split the difference. But it started at 118.50 and it's at 160 now. So I
yeah.
mean, $42, $41.50. I mean, that's not a huge
Yeah.
increase. But that's over 12 years. Obviously, with COVID, everything skyrocketed,
Mhm.
inflation, everything's gone up. I mean, my electric bill's crazy, my water bill's crazy. I mean,
Everything's gone up. It's not just that. But I think I guess the pro or con or whatever how you want to look at it, if you're against all that, are the people that want land, that kind of want to be out on their own.
yeah,
And then yeah, I mean that's just a completely different ballgame.
I would say now that I'm actually thinking through right now, the
I'm
con,
glad you're finally thinking.
shut up. The con list is just those not amenities, but things that clients want to do or owners want to do that they
Mhm.
never read through it. Like again,
Yeah.
parking your RV on the side of the
Mhm.
house or whatever. And yeah, it's against the
I got
rules
to get approval like for this or that.
or got to
But
get approval
a lot
for
of that's not even approval. It's just approval that is done right.
yeah.
You want
Yeah,
to
they
do
don't want
up to
some
safeties and codes. You want to make sure it's done properly. And
yeah,
then
they don't want a huge two-story something in the backyard
some
where it's right on
windmill in
your
your
neighbor
backyard or
or
something because
something.
now you're generating your own power or something.
Yeah.
But
So I don't think it's really cons, it's just nuisances and
mhm,
that they just don't know about.
yeah,
I mean the biggest one, I always hear the trailer complaint. That's always a big one.
well, because
Oh,
you get the letters all the time.
yeah. Well, I mean not even necessarily that, more so of in my neighbor, and I think you can in yours, but in like my neighborhood, so like my house, I have the big side yard. I could
Hmm.
put an RV back there or my
Yeah,
trailer back there, but we're not allowed to. So like those type of things, it did just change in our HOA where we couldn't have like the work vehicles or the wrap vehicles. So we always had to park the smart car in the garage
yeah.
because you couldn't have it out there. So
Well,
those little
I
those
think
little
all of
dumb
my
things, those are
community
kind of
does
nitpicky.
have that, like with the rap and stuff. But I think sometimes they just let it sometimes like little things slide.
Yeah. So, and my argument with that is like, okay, if you live there, you're contributing to your family, that's your job, and it's not a rundown beater that's sitting in the
Yeah.
driveway with two flat tires and cobwebs. That's different. That looks ugly. If someone next door is selling the house, how many buyers have we had and look over? I'm like, ooh, I don't want to live next to
I
that.
want to live next to that.
So
Yeah.
that's true, and that's the pro for the HOA. It's protecting your value at the end of the day.
So it sounds we're both pro. Anybody that's is against HOA, I mean, maybe put that in the comments and let us
Yeah,
hear your thoughts.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, if
Yeah.
if there's any bigger cons or if there's something we're missing that we're not thinking of right now, I mean, throw it in the comments.
Yeah.
See if it's something that we could answer or kind of boil through it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then I mean, I guess the same thing too. Keep the questions coming because every time we do one of these or we're just posting stuff, we're getting questions on
Yeah.
all of our videos. So we'll
It makes it easier on us because we're going to talk about what you guys want to hear. So yeah,
yep.
just keep sending those.
Yeah, so we have a running list. So every few weeks we'll probably do another one of these, just Q&A type questions and go
And
from
then
there.
again, if there's any guests that you would like us to have that's in the industry and you want them to have on here and to give their take, you just let us know that as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Any specific questions, any specific, if you want a full length one about one specific topic, I don't know, just give us some ideas. All right. But that'll wrap this one up. We'll see you guys on the next one.
We'll see you on the next one. See ya.
Peace.